She's the chief executive behind one of the most important organizations in the industry. Ruth Crowell joins us now at the IPMI. Ruth, thanks so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure. Happy to be here.
Well, since you've been at the helm of the LBMA, we've gone through so many changes in the industry, but you have some big news to share with us today. So let's start with that.
Yeah, no, it's a historic day. Bank of China has joined the LBMA gold price. It's the first Chinese bank to join the auction, so we're pretty delighted to have them on board, officially signed up, and they'll be taking part, I believe, from the 22nd of June.
Right. So that's a big moment for the industry, right?
Absolutely. I mean, in many ways, I think it's appropriate. Bank of China has actually been with the LBMA since its founding in 1987 and has been a quiet but consistent member of the market. So I think it's only appropriate they're the first Chinese bank to officially directly take part.
Now, under your lead, Ruth, you also went through the changing of the gold and silver fix, which was a historic and huge moment for the industry. But I never got your perspective of how you handled this.
Well, it certainly was really a challenging period. And I think, you know, when something that's been around for 117 years decides to stop and give us 3 months' notice, it was going to be difficult. But I think ultimately the market really came together and we were able to transition not just gold and silver, but also the platinum, palladium, all in 10 months. So I think for an industry that's criticized at times for being slow to change, when we do so with quite a lot of momentum.
Well, there were a lot of comments when that happened. What do you think has been the biggest change since the gold and silver fix basically changed over?
I would say the biggest change is obviously more people can take part directly. And it's visible on the screens. I think the industry was very familiar with the fix and very comfortable because of the robust nature of the mechanism, but ultimately they weren't able to see it and the public weren't able to see it. So being able to see it live on Bloomberg, on Reuters,
right,
on Kitco, whatever data vendor you want to look at, makes a big difference for people's understanding of how that auction operates.
So do you feel there's more transparency now?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
That's happening on a live basis. You've got the rounds. It's open in terms of participation. It's just unfortunately no one is lining up around our door to try to join any benchmarks. But that's not just gold and silver. That's really across asset classes.
So Ruth, you're a speaker here at the IPMI. What was your message to attendees?
Well, really, it's just to get the message out in terms of what we did for the benchmarks, but also that we're being a bit more proactive now from a strategy perspective with LBMA. It's really not been good enough to say that we're only looking after good delivery, but really trying to make sure that for the market, physically based in London, that we're proactively developing and getting on the front foot as opposed to the back foot.
Okay, so what's your focus for the rest of the year?
So the rest of the year, we've just completed a study with Ernst & Young and looking at what other services that LBMA can offer to the OTC market. And really this has been a range from data reporting down to exchange services and trying to see what the market needs and wants, particularly with all the regulation that's been putting pressure on all the trading participants. We've been looking at what options can be put in place to try to alleviate some of those pressure points.
And finally, what do you feel is the sentiment from attendees here, Ruth? You know, we have attendees from all over the world. What's the sentiment like for gold and silver?
Well, I think, you know, ultimately markets and volumes have been down, but I think ultimately there's still a lot of passion for the industry and commitment. We still got big attendance here at the IPMI. I think attendance across industry events have been down, but there's still a lot of opportunity in terms of all the changes. There's always opportunity that comes with it.
Ruth Crowell, thank you so much for joining me today.
It's a pleasure.
And thanks for watching our coverage here from the IPMI. We'll have more for you throughout the day.